Good morning again. Here I am, Rita from Gringo to Tico, sitting in the jungle. You see behind me where usually it's all green. It's really cloudy. It's September, and we've had an interesting rainy season this year. So it's been a little more cloudy in the mornings than what we'd have other years. Things every year seems to be different, right? So today we're going to talk about money saving tips. You know, there's so many people out there posting all over Facebook and everywhere how expensive Costa Rica has gotten and how expensive their cost of living. And there's things saying like, you want to be a millionaire in Costa Rica, bring two. Those kinds of, I consider them rude things. But anyway, that's only my personal opinion. The thing is, no matter where you live, your cost of living depends on you. Your choices of how you do things. Sure, things might cost more here than they do in Panama. I know this. I go to Panama once a year to David to go shopping. I go to the border frequently, the Panama-Costa Rica border, to go shopping to get things. Yes, things are cheaper there. The infrastructure is different. Do I want to live in Panama? Whenever I've been in Panama, I keep thinking, oh, you know, maybe we should because its cost of living is less. But when I see the infrastructure and I talk to my friends who live there, like, no, Costa Rica's better at the end of the day. So do I have to, you know, think about my expenses and where I go to shop and how I shop? Of course. But the reality is you do no matter where you live, right? Wherever you've come from, you don't just spend your money willy-nilly. You think about these things. So the things, I'm going to give you a list of the ways to save money easier in Costa Rica. Now, the biggest thing, the biggest cost most people complain about is the cost of vehicles. Yep, cost of cars is expensive. They're working on that. There's a thing that's been a proposal that's been put into the government of Costa Rica, to the immigration and all of that, to make it easier for tourists to come in. One of them is making import duties on cars less, because the biggest reason the cars cost so much here is the import duties. So they're looking at reducing that, and for people who have immigrated to Costa Rica to be able to get one vehicle in the first 3 years they're here, or something like that, duty-free. So there's changes in play to make it easier for people to do those kinds of things. But other than that, it's groceries, it's your power bill, things like that, right? So I'm going to talk about groceries first, because that's the biggest thing. Number one is buy local, okay? You're used to buying the Kikkoman soy sauce. This is a conversation I had with a girlfriend of mine a while ago who moved here. She only understood that Kikkoman was good, and the only good soy sauce to buy. Well, there's a local brand, La China or something it's called, that's equally good, and it's a third the price, more or less, right? So look at those kinds of things. Same thing, probably comes from the same factory, just bottled differently, right? So snack foods are another one. Doritos and things like that are stupid expensive, but you can buy knockoff Costa Rican brands that are just as good and don't cost you a fortune, okay? Second one is buying your fruits and veggies. I buy mine at more fruits and veggie markets or stores that specialize in that. I have one in Palmar I like to go to mostly. It started out as a veggie market and it's expanded, so we still call it the veggie market, even though it's not anymore. You know, the stuff was in the field yesterday. It's fresh, it's real, and the prices are good. You know, also depending on time of year and seasonal. When I go to make my salsas and my tomato sauces and things like that, my spaghetti sauce, I know the times of the year when tomatoes, onions, and green peppers are most plentiful, and that's the time of the year that I buy those things in bulk to make, and I'll spend 3 or 4 days making my salsas and my tomato soup and my spaghetti sauces to can. Okay, so it's about working about that. So the next thing is learning to make your own stuff. You've got the time now. It's not hard. Research it. It's just learning to do it, you know. Make your own bone broth or your broths, right? Because if you boil your own chicken bones to make chicken broth, number one, it tastes way, way better. It's way nicer. I freeze it in ice cube trays for the 1 or 2 tablespoons that you need sometimes, and then half cup and then 2 cup bags, half cup amounts, using a muffin tin, and then freeze them. It is so much better. It's virtually free. Your bones are your bones. They're going to go in the garbage otherwise. It costs you the gas for your stove, or the electricity if you're using electric stove, which I hope you're not, because gas stoves are so much better, more efficient to use. And because if you buy a box of chicken broth in a store, it's $8 or more for a box of chicken broth. You can make a lot of your own. So what we do is if we're having chicken and there's the bones, it's just us. I throw the bones in the freezer when I get a bag. I put it on, put a little bit of vinegar in there with the water. You can put veggie scraps if you want. You can put whatever flavorings you want. I don't bother. And chicken bones you boil for like 6 hours. Beef bones you boil for like 12 hours. You know? And it is the most and best and healthy and good for you. Okay? So those kinds of things. Learning to make your food from scratch. It's not hard. It's just learning to do it. I'm looking at my list that I've made for you. Try hard not to buy imported goods. If anything you're buying that's imported is going to cost you the duty. And duty in Costa Rica is how the Costa Rican country makes its money other than tourism. They don't like to talk about that, but that's the reality of things, okay? So whatever you're buying, try to buy something that's been made in Costa Rica or has Costa Rica labeling on it, those kinds of things. We've already discussed that. Fuel for your vehicle. For some of you coming from the United States and other countries, fuel is not that expensive for your vehicle, whether it's diesel or gas. I come from Canada. It's expensive, which is crazy because we produce a lot of it. Or they produce a lot of it. It's not we anymore. But so it's learning, okay, if the gas in my car is going to be expensive, it costs a lot to fill my car up. Why don't I plan my trips so I only go to town once a week or once every 3 days instead of going all the time, right? You learn to watch those kinds of things, okay? If I'm going to go compile a bunch of tasks in the same day. It's like I go to Palmar to buy my majority of my groceries every 3 weeks, and I do all my errands that day. That's anything that needs done can wait till that day, and I will do them all at the same time. And that way I'm only paying for gas and wear and tear on my car for that one day, okay? So it's conservation at that level. The next thing is shopping where the locals shop. Most of the time, if you go to where the locals go, it will be cheaper. For example, where I live on the Baena Coast, there's a group of stores called the BME. There's one in Uvita, which tends to be more of a tourist. It's a center. It's more of a commercial center there, and there's much more Americans live there, and tends to be more of a tourist place. There's another one down south of us, a few minutes further in Palmar Norte, and Palmar Norte is a more farming community. More locals go there. The price of simple things like rice and beans, the basics, everything, it's about 20% less in Palmar than it is in Uvita. Same store, same product. The other day, my husband was looking for Messina limes, the limes like you use in North America for, your gin and tonic, those types of limes. There's a store in Uvita called Plaza Pacifico or something like that. The limes were 30% less in that store than they were in the BM. Now the Plaza Pacifico or Pacifico, whatever it's called, is owned by the BM. But because that's a Tico store, more of a Tico store, they were cheaper. So guess where he goes to buy his limes now? Even though it's only pennies saved, all those pennies add up. So it's those kinds of things. You can save a lot of money by doing that. So, it's all about your choices. Your life is going to be expensive if you live like you're on vacation the whole time. If you go out to eat at the touristy places, try and find the more local places to go and eat when you're in town and you need to have lunch. And save the more expat touristy places for those special occasions going out to eat. There's nothing wrong with going to a soda and having, a piece of fish and some rice and beans on it for a casado for, 3,000 colones, so less than $6. Those kinds of things. You can't live here like you're on vacation the whole time and expect to make it work. You have to figure out life, and you have to learn what works better for you wherever you're living, those kinds of things, right? It's all about your daily choices, okay? Thank you so much for listening. I look forward to seeing you on the next video. You guys take care. Stay safe. This is Rita from Gringo to Tico.